Hello class, and welcome to your Week 1 lecture on G Suite and its applications. I am a guest lecturer for this class, and I am excited to share the range of business and personal productivity uses available for G Suite users. I was a beta tester and user of both Gmail and Google Apps for Education, and I am also a Google certified teacher. These weekly lectures are intended to provide an overview and uses of the various features of G Suite, along with tips to help you use them to your best advantage. For detailed step-by-step instructions related to the tasks you will need to be able to do to complete your assignments and final projects, please refer to the weekly G Suite video tutorials in your Blackboard course. You probably became familiar with Google after it burst onto the internet as a search engine option in the late 1990s and quickly took over the vast majority of the search engine market in the early 2000s. Currently, it's nearly impossible to go through a day without some exposure to Google and its many sister companies: YouTube, Google Maps, Nest, Google Phones, and, if you're lucky enough to live in an area that offers it, Google Fiber. Google is a mainstay in many of our lives, yet you might not be familiar with G Suite, formerly known as Google Apps, unless you had the chance to use it in school or in a small business setting. Until the mid-2000s, Microsoft had a virtual monopoly on business productivity software with their Microsoft Office apps and suite. There have certainly been other options for work software, such as OpenOffice and LibreOffice, but none were able to crack Microsoft's hold on the market due to their lack of features or incompatibility with Office file formats. In 2006, Google entered the competition with Gmail, its free ad-supported webmail service that integrated with IMAP and POP3 email clients. Even though Gmail was in its beta stage, the idea of having such a flexible and free email service was extremely popular, and people rushed to create accounts. Later in 2006, Google launched Apps for Education, commonly known as GAFE, at Arizona State University. GAFE initially included Google Docs and Google Sheets, and were considered the first major threat to Microsoft Office. The popularity and portability of GAFE took off, and currently 74 out of the top 100 ranked universities in the United States exclusively use GAFE as their email and productivity software option. In 2012, Google unified all their applications under Google Drive, which operates as a cloud-based file storage and organization system. Google Drive is the umbrella under which Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, Form, Draw, Calendar, and a myriad other third-party apps interact and share files. Users who already had a Gmail account were also given 25 gigabytes of free storage on Google's cloud. To put that into perspective, the gateway computer I spent about $2,500 to buy in 2001 had 9 gigs of storage, most of which was taken up by the computer's operating system. This was a game changer for small businesses and freelancers who no longer had to pay for large file storage or software. Currently, the use of cloud-based software is still pretty small. ComputerWeekly.com reported in February 2016 that only 13% of publicly traded companies use cloud-based computing software due to security and infrastructure concerns. On the other hand, in highly competitive small business markets such as retail, real estate, advertising, and education, cloud-based software fills 77% of business that is transacted or developed on the cloud, and Google has 50% of that market. That brings us to why G Suite. If you've had a chance to download Microsoft Office and have worked with G Suite in another class, you'll notice that G Suite is much less robust than Office in terms of editing and formatting features across all of the apps. The why is simple. Cloud-based productivity software like Google shines in the areas of collaboration, portability, and innovation. G Suite and all of its apps were designed specifically for a student or a worker who is not always tied to the same desktop computer. For those of us who worked or went to school prior to the mid-2000s, our work was usually done at one specific computer, saved on that computer, and files were then transported from work, school, and home through floppy drives, external hard drives, email, or flash drives. The problem with this is that external hard drives can get lost, disks can get damaged, and email can be unreliable due to human error, file corruption, or the difficulties of several people making edits on several different copies of the same document. Additionally, anyone who worked on computers during that time was well acquainted with the sense of dread that you would feel when a computer crashed or the power went out while you were working on an unsaved document. The immediate appeal of Gmail and G Suite came from the sense of being set free from your desktop computer. Because it is web-based, users can check their email and access their files on any computer and mobile device, as long as they have their email and password handy. Additionally, files and emails auto-save to drafts as a user is working, so there is no need to carry around backup file storage or start over if your computer malfunctions. G Suite also partners with literally thousands of third-party app creators, which allows the user to take the basic G Suite apps and customize them with features like mail merge, PDF editors, RSS feed aggregators, developer tools, and business APIs. Finally, G Suite offers the ability for users to create and edit files collaboratively in real time. Someone who creates a spreadsheet can then add someone else to the spreadsheet to either view and leave comments, or outright edit the document based on sharing permissions embedded into Drive. This eliminates the need to email documents back and forth or share external file storage, which can sometimes lead to redundant work or errors between different versions of the same file. In the interest of full disclosure, Microsoft developed its own cloud-based collaborative software suite in 2012 called Microsoft 365 for Education. It is also a slightly pared-down version of Microsoft Office and has similar collaboration and portability benefits. Let's now take a look at Google Docs. Again, this will serve as an overview of each of the apps and their features. For detailed instructions on using features for each of these apps, please refer to your weekly video tutorials. Before 2012, Google had several great apps available, but no central way to access them or to work with files in more than one application. Google Drive was the answer to that. Drive is the umbrella app that helps store and organize all the files created by Google Docs, Sheets, Slide, Forms, and Draw. It allows the users to share files and folders with other users, as well as to set restrictions on sharing permissions. Additionally, access to content is restricted based on email address. For instance, content hosted by Google at our university is only accessible if you are logged into your university email. If you're logged into a personal Gmail account while you try to access course materials in Blackboard, Google will block your access and return an error message. Drive is set up similarly to a traditional operating system, in that files can exist on the drive separately or be organized into folders and subfolders. Files can also be copied and renamed, which is the cloud-based equivalent of the Save As feature, downloaded in different file formats and uploaded from your computer's hard drive into Google Drive. Google Docs, the word processing software we will be working with in weeks 1 and 2, was the first productivity app developed by Google after Gmail. Docs functions almost exactly like Microsoft Word, but with fewer features and a more streamlined user interface. Users can create and edit documents and save them in a variety of forms. You can also edit someone else's document or work jointly on creating a document together. Docs can be downloaded as Microsoft Word documents, PDFs, rich text, text files, web pages, and e-reader files, and can also be published as a web page. In week 1, we will be working with creating and editing basic features of a doc, so please refer to your reading and to your week 1 video tutorial for more information.